Nation of Fit and 10, welcome to day 13. And if you have not sent in your feedback, and it's only your first feedback, by the way, if you have not sent in your feedback, please do so. There's about half of you who have not received your feedback from. So I'm missing about 15 or 16 feedbacks. And this is supposed to be something that you do on a weekly basis. I did forewarn you a couple times. So please make sure you do it. Check out the email with your macro numbers, the weekly email that I send you. There's a link in there. Okay, www.trainonmain.com/fit-in-10 check-in, all one word, fit in 10 check-in. Send me your feedback, ask me any questions you may have. I care, I want to know, so, and this is, I think, very helpful to you. It should be helpful to you and helpful to others. All right, so send it in to me, please. Speaking of feedback, I am going to get into more questions. So I'm just going to read this question out just quickly here. This person writes, need to work on performing lunges deeper, trying to get my legs to bend at 90 degrees while maintaining to keep my torso up and shoulders back, remembering not to extend my knee past my toes. Don't worry about the amount of weights in each hand, but to try and perfect the move first. Yeah, so mechanics and range of motion and control, those three things, overweight 100%, okay? Now, in terms of not extending your knee past your toe, there's no problem with this. You can do that. If you do extend your knee past your toe, you're going to place more emphasis on your quads and less on your glutes. So sometimes I'll tell people, let's not go past 90 degrees, so we put more emphasis on the glutes. But there's nothing wrong with those knees going past the toes. And when it comes to improving knee stability, well, maybe not knee stability. When it comes to improving knee strength and knee health, we do want to practice those deep knee bending type motions. In the case of a lunge, that would be knees over toes, okay, or going more towards knees over toes. Now, I don't suggest you doing a dramatic change to your lunge, but you could, through time, work on getting more bend in your knee, and this will help with the health of your knees, all right? So just something to think about. All right, are there any supplements or exercises to help with weak knees caused by degeneration? Are there movements that I should not do? Okay, so we talked about a little bit, I think it was yesterday or the day before. Check out Knees Over Toes Guy or ATG. Just look up ATG. I can't remember the name of it now. Okay, but look up Knees Over Toes Guy on Instagram, or just Google him. He's got a great program for people with bad knees. In terms of supplementation, there's only a couple things that I know of. Well, I guess there's arguably more, but two that I really know seem to have some strong data behind them are glucosamine, that's drawing a blank there, glucosamine sulfate and MSM. So glucosamine and MSM, those two are supposed to be really good for preventing degeneration. So more specifically, helping to prevent degeneration of your cartilage. And also, and don't quote me on this, but something more to the effect of maybe preventing inflammation or creating a little more synovial fluid in the joint so the joint feels like it's getting a little more cushion. All right, so anyways, I think all that matters to you is glucosamine sulfate and MSM. I don't carry them, by the way. So yeah, that's one thing that ATP Labs doesn't have. It doesn't have a joint formula. So anyways, all right, so hopefully that is of help to you. All right, now there's another question. I'm not gonna read it here, but it was what to do if you're around people and they're eating food that you can't have. And so one of the things that I know this might sound a bit ridiculous, but this is one thing I do when I have the urge to eat something or I want to eat more. I am naturally an overeater, so I don't, because I portion out my food, but I have no problem overeating. I love eating. Believe me, you may not think that I am this way, but believe me, I am. And so, what do we do? How do we go about controlling this? Well, one thing that I do is I'll say to myself, okay, you're going to eat this, and then what? You're going to eat it. You're going to have like 5 minutes of pleasure or 10 minutes, and then what? And then you've got to deal with the consequences of eating it, right? Which is, those consequences are going to span into maybe hours of agony, perhaps mental agony, or maybe it's going to, everything adds up. So maybe this is going to contribute to more weight gain. Perhaps this is only going to spiral into you eating more. It's like, because some people, when they eat, they have a little bit, and they're like, well, I had a little bit, I might as well have more. And I used to be this way on my cheat days, okay? Or not cheat days. I used to have a cheat meal. I'd be like, well, it was almost like it didn't matter how much I ate. It was like, if the damage had already been done, well, I might as well just eat more. But no, all that damage is just adding up more and more and more and more and more and more and more. So if you have a little bit, then it's just a little bit. If you have a moderate amount, well, then it's a moderate amount. If you have a ton of calories, you got to deal with that. There's a difference between a little bit and a lot, okay? The thing that helps me the most, and I don't know if this is going to help you, but again, I just ask myself, I'm going to eat it, and then what, right? The other thing I ask myself is, am I actually hungry? Are you actually hungry? And there's various levels to this, but sometimes hunger is more about boredom, or it's just about pleasure, right? It's like tasting something really good. Quite often it's one of those two things, or it's it's a need to trigger our serotonin, essentially. That I guess this could go with point two. But when we eat things, especially like carbohydrate-rich foods, especially sugar-dense foods, we're going to get an abundance of serotonin in the brain. This is going to make us feel good, right? So, it's something to consider as well, all right? Think of it as a drug. Know that it's not particularly good for you. Try to stick to the real whole foods. And maybe tomorrow I'll go through some strategies to help keep you full. All right? And I'll come back to this because I don't feel like I fully exhausted this. I just kind of touched on it. So, all right. I'm going to stop there. But before I do, I'm going to get the message of the day, which I haven't even looked at today. What is it? Okay, actually, this is very fitting. Every meal is a short-term investment in how you feel, a midterm investment in how you look, and a long-term investment in your freedom from disease. So every meal is a short-term investment in how you feel, a midterm investment in how you look, and a long-term investment in your freedom from disease. So think about that. So you eat something that tastes really good, you're going to feel good in the short term. But in the midterm and the long term, we got to think about disease, because this is very real. As much as we might say, well, yeah, maybe not. No, it's definitely related, 100%. And of course, how we look and our health, right? Can't forget our health. Well, I guess this would fall in from our freedom of disease, but we could think about it in a bigger picture as just our overall health. Not just freedom from disease, but maybe freedom from just, pain, right? I've had a lot of people mention to me about pain that they have from carrying too much weight, or just in general inflammation, that type of thing. And this is largely, maybe not entirely, but largely related to our dietary choices. All right, positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, for love, God gives some gratitude. I'll talk to you all tomorrow.